What's up guys, it's Will here back again, and today's video I think is going to be a really fun one. I'm going to jump straight into number 20, but just a brief little description of what we're doing today. We're going over 20 of the top Hot Toys chase figures that are worth chasing, figures that are sold out or waitlisted still on pre-order that are worth chasing down and picking up and adding to your collection if you love that character. Guys, make sure to like the video presumptively down below. Make sure to click the subscribe button please, and click the notification bell so you're notified when content goes live here. I promise you won't miss any content here if you click that notification bell. Videos, reviews, live streams, everything that you're going to want to know, previews for upcoming releases is going to be found here on this channel. That said, at number 20, we're looking at Doctor Strange from the Multiverse of Madness. Now, Doctor Strange is a character that is very important to a lot of collectors. The fact that he joined the MCU at all is pretty remarkable. When he was teased in Winter Soldier, when they said Stephen Strange, at that point we all knew, we said, okay, things are about to get serious. We're about to get the wizard that we all want in our MCU, and boy did he deliver. Benedict Cumberbatch has done an amazing job as Doctor Strange and has really embodied the character to a degree where you can't really separate the character from him at this point. He's not quite Iron Man or Steve Rogers, but you definitely associate Doctor Strange with Benedict at this point. And if you're looking for a Doctor Strange, there are some good ones. The original Doctor Strange was pretty good. The Doctor Strange from Infinity War I had for a while was pretty good. But if you want a Doctor Strange these days, there is no better one than this one. There is a No Way Home one as well that is solid, but this one is certainly an improvement. The head sculpt, the likeness, the overall tailoring on the outfit is incredible. The accessories are also really great. You also get that second head sculpt with the Whispering Eye, which if you really want that, great, it's fantastic. You can have that in your display. I would personally never use that third eye. I wasn't a huge fan of this movie, but as far as the likeness is concerned, it's absolutely incredible. This is, I think, one of the best likenesses Hot Toys has done, and I don't even think these blogger pictures show it in the best possible light. I mean, I've seen this in people's collections and it looks absolutely incredible. This looks so much like Benedict. They did an amazing job here. And I love the intricacies of the outfit that are a little bit different than other Doctor Strange outfits. You can see the blue pattern there on the front and then the different shades of blue, the darker shades on the outside there with the red lining. This is pretty cool. The cape is always magnetic, which is great. You have the mystic effects that you can use, but it really comes down to me to the quality of the tailoring in the outfit and of course the likeness. The accessories, you have the dragon accessories. Those are pretty cool. Again, if you love Multiverse of Madness, it's an easy choice, but if you're looking for a Doctor Strange, I don't even really think you should be considering the other ones. I think this is absolutely the best one to get. And for that reason, I think it's worth chasing down. You're not even going to have to pay out the apps for it. I think you can get this at retail or maybe even below retail. So, I think you'll be fine picking this one up if you really want it for a very reasonable price. At number 19, we have the Hot Toys Black Panther original suit, the 2.0 version. Originally, they made this figure in Captain America Civil War, and it was incredible for its time. And now you have an updated version because he does wear the suit in the early stages of the Black Panther film. And of course, you got the iconic Chadwick Boseman here as Black Panther. I never loved this head sculpt. I don't think it's a very good representation for Chadwick. I think he deserved better than this, but I do think the suit itself is fantastic. And in most cases, you're going to use the mask look. The proportions are greatly improved from the original. You do have this mask look as well that you could have him wearing because when he did the challenge, he wore this mask. I don't know why you'd actually use that in your display. I think if you were going to display it a certain way, it would be with the actual mask on, or it would be with the Chadwick head sculpt. Maybe you want to sit him in the throne, you can totally do that. This figure goes really well with the original Killmonger, which is a great figure in its own right, and probably should have been included on this list because I really do love that figure having it in my collection. But this Black Panther is extremely iconic. Proportions improved, tailoring's improved, the quality of the suit material is improved. Chadwick's head sculpt unfortunately did not improve, but again, this isn't a very iconic representation here, and I do think this is his best suit. At number 18, we have the Hot Toys Attack of the Clones Episode 2 Anakin Skywalker. Now, this is not the definitive Anakin Skywalker. I would say that's probably Episode 3, the Artisan version, or maybe even the Ahsoka version, the dark side one, that can be, used as a dark side Anakin if you wish it to. I do think a sculpted one is coming at some point, maybe by the end of this year or early next year. But nonetheless, even if not, I do think this Episode 2 representation is really important for Anakin Skywalker fans, for people who really want every version of the character, or if they want Padme with Anakin. I think this one goes better with Anakin than probably even the Episode 3 one does. This is a very important figure here, just because Anakin as a Padawan leads into something really devastating down the line, but I do think this figure is slept on a little bit more than it should be. I don't have him in my collection because I prioritize Episode 3, but for Star Wars fans who really love Anakin Skywalker that much and want every Anakin, this one's hard to pass on. Or maybe you just want two Anakins, you could get an Episode 3 in this one. I have the dark side and the light side because I love Episode 3. It's one of my favorite Star Wars movies, but I do think people sleep on this one a little bit too much. I do think it's a little bit underrated. I did hear people get this one in hand though and say how good it is in person. It's one of the best likenesses of the releases that year. I believe it was 2024. And I do think this one should get a little bit more respect in the community. So is it worth chasing? Yeah, because when are you going to get another episode 2 Anakin Skywalker? Now that there's an episode 2 Obi-Wan on pre-order, those two are going to go together very effectively. And I think people are going to try to chase this one down, and rightly so, because it's a very good figure in its own right. And I don't think you're getting it again anytime soon. At number 17, we have the Hot Toys Advanced Suit 2.0. Now, those who know me, I've put this guy in several videos now. The Advanced Suit 2.0 might be the best Spider-Man suit that Hot Toys has ever released. I think it's absolutely incredible. I love the design of this suit. I loved it in the game, and I think Hot Toys created it in a beautiful way. The Advanced Suit 1.0 was good in its own right, but the 2.0 is better in every single way. Proportions, the overall design of the suit, how the suit actually creases and fits on the body in terms of articulation. This figure is better all around. You have the spider claws this time, huge bonus if you want to display those if you have room to. I think this is a very, very awesome Spider-Man suit. And if you played the game, bonus points, you can have this guy in your collection and represent a video game display instead of a live action Spider-Man. I have him in my video game case, and I think he fits perfectly next to 21 inches of Venom. I don't have the Miles Morales. Maybe I will pick that one up at some point. I don't love that suit quite as much as I do Advanced Suit 2.0, but I do think this is literally one of the best Spider-Man suits ever made by Hot Toys. And I think it's beautiful. I think it beautifully represents the character. And of course, if you love the game like I do, the first game at least, then I think this one is absolutely worthy of a representation. The second game I thought was pretty good. It was a little bit mid to me, but I loved some of the moments in it. Some of the things with Venom I really enjoyed, and I love the look of this suit. So I have this figure to represent my love for the first game, even though it is from the second game, just because it's still the same Spider-Man. And I did love things about the second game. I didn't dislike it, but it just wasn't as good as the first one, which I thought was incredible. I think I might surprise some people with number 16. I'm gonna go with the Deadpool and Wolverine Special Edition Deadpool. I think this is just a great figure. This is the best Deadpool that's been made. You do have the Battle Damage Deadpool that's currently on pre-order in some places. It's been released in others, but nonetheless, that one should be shipping to collectors sometime in the near future. It comes with some cool accessories, don't get me wrong. That one does have some Wolverine skull and you know, spine and stuff like that you can swing around, have Deadpool smacking people with. But I do think if you're looking for the iconic Deadpool, as of now, it's still this one. The clean outfit is the definitive look for Deadpool because that's how he looks like 80 to 90% of the time. So for me, I really love this look. And the special edition has the golden guns, which I think are really awesome. Baby Pool, yes, you can use him if you wish, but that was not even a thing in the movie. So for me, that's going to stay in the box. And this Deadpool looks awesome, whether he's wielding his katanas or his golden Desert Eagle pistols. Either way, he looks awesome. The proportions, amazing. Love how this suit looks on the figure. No head sculpt, unfortunately, which the Battle Damage one does have, but I do think that the definitive look for Deadpool is with the mask on, not the mask off. At number 15, I have the Hot Toys Count Dooku from Attack of the Clones. Now, I did just move on from this figure recently. I was running out of space, and also I needed funds for other pre-orders that were coming down the pipeline, considering I'm, you know, kind of in on this Anakin Skywalker hype with Darth Vaders and Anakins and such like that, and all the other Star Wars figures like Revan and Nihilus and things along those lines that need to be in my collection. Nonetheless, I do have a nostalgic collection to the prequels. I love episode 3, episode 2 and 1, not so much, but there are things I like about them. And I do have that nostalgic feeling for them regardless. And Count Dooku was a great part of the prequel trilogy. And this is honestly one of the best head sculpts that Hot Toys has ever done. Hot Toys seems to be really good with old white men. They are really good at casting head sculpts of those types of characters. And I think this one is no exception. This is absolutely one of their best work so far. And if they did this again, I think it would be incredible. This photo is super savage, by the way. I don't think I ever even saw this photo when this thing released. So this is pretty great, actually. The fact that he's holding the saber and the other hand just flying off, that's actually pretty amazing. Got to give them the, you know, kudos on that one. But this looks great. The tailoring is fantastic. I promise you the head sculpt is going to blow you away in person. If you have a prequel collection, it's definitely hard to bypass this guy if you're a huge fan of Attack of the Clones or episode 3. But for me, look, I needed space for more Darth Vader and Anakin things, and I just couldn't prioritize this one. But I do think a lot of collectors are really going to need this guy in their display. He's really that good, and Count Dooku is an iconic character nonetheless, and I don't think you're getting another Count Dooku anytime soon. So if you need this guy in your collection, I think he's worth chasing for the price you can pay for him. At 14, we have the Hot Toys Cad Bane from the Book of Boba Fett. This is the live action Cad Bane. I did not like Book of Boba Fett. The show is pretty ass, but again, there are some good moments, one of them being Cad Bane. Pretty much everything to do with Cad Bane was very fun, and I loved it. The showdown between him and Cobb Vanth was, I think, one of the best Star Wars scenes that they've ever done. That was just an amazing sort of desert pistol showdown duel. It was a standoff, and I really, really loved it. This figure has so much presence. Let me promise you, if you get this guy in your collection, he's going to be amazing and he's going to stand out in all the right ways. He's tall, he's blue, he looks like a desert alien cowboy, he has pistols, it's amazing. I promise you, this guy has interchangeable faceplates. He's going to stand out incredible in your display. So for me, I absolutely recommend picking him up. He's insanely good. The weathering could be a little bit more significant on the coat, but I definitely do recommend him just because of how amazing he is and how great he was in the show in a pretty terrible show. At 13, we have the Hot Toys The New Hope ObiWan. And I don't even think I referenced, I am wearing a tank top again today. I just came from the gym, and you know what? I'm going all comfort today. We're going with the tank top. We're showing off the tats. It is what it is. 13, ObiWan Kenobi from A New Hope. I do think, just a disclaimer here, I do think there is a very strong possibility that this figure does get remade, because Hot Toys is probably going to revisit the Star Wars New Hope line sometime in the next couple years. It could be next year, it could be even this year. I do think it's going to be revisited sometime soon, and I do think another ObiWan Kenobi is coming down the pipeline. Nonetheless, if you want an old Ben in your collection right now and you're not willing to wait, I promise you, this figure is incredible. I have sold a decent amount of figures in my day, and I don't think that I regret selling one more than this ObiWan Kenobi. I'm committed at this point. I'm committed to waiting until they remake this figure, and I will absolutely dopo it. But ObiWan Kenobi, this old version, is one that I've always really wanted in my collection. So when I had it, I loved it, but someone gave me a crazy offer for it, and I said, okay, they're gonna remake this guy. Let's just take this offer and move on from him. This is probably the figure that I've missed the most in terms of selling an actual figure and wanting it back. This is great. The likeness to Alec Guinness is incredible, and I do think that this is a Star Wars figure that is a true grail. This thing can be found pretty reasonably these days, maybe for like $350 on the aftermarket. I do think this guy is just fantastic. I would love to have a Ewan McGregor as well, but I really like this old Alec Guinness ObiWan. I just think it's an amazing figure, and the head sculpt is crazy good. And again, how important ObiWan is to the Star Wars saga and how important he was in the original film, A New Hope, he's just worth it. He's absolutely worth it in your display. So if you can pick him up and you don't want to wait, I think he's worth chasing. He's that good. And at number 12, I have the Hot Toys Age of Ultron Hawkbuster. Now, this is the reissue or the 2.0, whichever you want to call it, but this is an incredibly dynamic and presence commanding figure. This thing is about, I think, 22 to 23 inches tall, somewhere about there. And this thing is just remarkable. You can articulate it, pose it around to different degrees. And the fact that this thing even exists at all on 1/6 scale is pretty remarkable. I think Hot Toys did a fantastic job here. And this guy did cost, I believe, around $1,100 to $1,200 at retail, but it makes sense. You have some die-cast parts, you have a huge figure here that articulates, and this is the iconic Hawkbuster. Make no mistake about it, the Infinity War one is like made of some vinyl-like material, and it's just not nearly as good quality or presence commanding as this Age of Ultron Hawkbuster is. And again, Age of Ultron, for all of its flaws, still a good film. And this Hawkbuster was incredibly amazing to see in the trailers and, of course, in the actual film. Never would I have ever thought we'd see a Hawkbuster in live action anytime soon. And we did in Age of Ultron, and it was pretty great. So that was an awesome moment. And I do think this figure is a great representation for that Hawkbuster character. If you can get your hands on the Age of Ultron Hawk, sure, go for it. You can create a dynamic display with those two. But nonetheless, Hawkbuster standing there in his own right, provided you have the space and the money, he's worth it. At number 11, we have the Hot Toys Han Solo Stormtrooper Disguise version. Now, this was a Hot Toys exclusive even at the time, before exclusives were cool, and this thing has become very popular, I promise you. The fact that it has a smirking head sculpt, I think, is probably the biggest reason. This Han Solo head sculpt is very unique. It really takes the A New Hope head sculpt, gives it a smirk, and makes it its own cool little thing. There's a Han Solo from Episode 6 that is out there now, and that one does not have a smirk. No Han Solo has a smirk since this one, and I think that's such an important part of the character's look, to have that sort of smirky, cheeky type expression that we have not gotten since. So the fact that you get a Stormtrooper body and a Han Solo head sculpt to go on top of it, it's a very unique one-off type of figure. I don't know if it's going to be revisited anytime soon. It doesn't seem like there's any plans to. So this is a really cool representation, very unique, and something that you don't see in a lot of people's collections, which I think is part of its allure. It's very unique and representative, and I think it's just a really cool piece. All right, at number 10, we have the Hot Toys Hela from Thor Ragnarok. Now, Hela is a very good figure, and for a while, she was going for a crazy price. The only downside, the only con, is that they did not give her seamless shoulders. And if they made that figure today, they absolutely would have. But considering the figure was made several years ago now, they put a beautiful head sculpt on it, really good outfit and tailoring, but they got those visible shoulders. You can kind of cover them if you move the shoulder straps over that general area, but the shoulder straps are not really intended to be there. They're meant to be a little bit more over the shoulder blade. So it's a little bit tricky. You can also kind of pose it away with poses like these, but this is awesome. Thor Ragnarok was a film people really enjoyed. I liked Thor Ragnarok enough at the time. When it first released, I was kind of confused about why it was so comedic, and I just wasn't sure why they went that direction, but it really hit with people. And Thor Love and Thunder was the one that really started to turn people away. But Thor Ragnarok was a very big success for Marvel, and Hela was a big part of that. And she was a great villain, a really fantastic story for Thor and Hela here with the rivalry. And this character is pretty damn awesome. It's unfortunate we haven't seen her since, and I don't think we're going to. Maybe in Secret Wars, you might get some sort of surprise there, but I don't think that this figure is going to be remade anytime soon. That would be my prediction. And if you really want this amazing representation for Hela, this is the only option for you. And you can get it for probably a little over $300 these days, not that much over retail. So you can get her for a pretty reasonable price, and she looks fantastic. Provided you're okay dealing with those shoulders, I think you're gonna have a really great figure here. At number 9, we have the Chrome Mandalorian. Now this thing just waitlisted recently. This is a figure that you don't have to pay out the ass for. There are several on this list that you can probably get below retail, sometimes even significantly below retail, but they still are technically chase figures in that you can't buy them in stock on a website because they're sold out at all the major retailers. Nonetheless, this is the best Mandalorian that has been made thus far. There is going to be another Mando certainly next year when Mandalorian and Grogu releases in theaters in May, and when that happens, that's probably going to be the best one. To be honest, it's probably going to be die cast or some sort of other chrome paint application that is superior to the one you're seeing in front of you on your screen right now. But nonetheless, right now, if you need a Mandalorian, this is the guy to get. And the fact that you can get him pretty cheap is absolutely worth it. The chrome just pops. It shines, it shows off on a shelf, and you get so many cool accessories. You got the Beskar spear, you got the dark saber, you got, of course, his iconic pistols. This Pedro head sculpt is lacking compared to the new Pedro head sculpts from Fantastic Four and The Last of Us. No doubt about it, but you're probably not using it. Don't even matter. But the weathering on this figure is also somewhat problematic for people. It's a little bit more weathered than what people have, what's been showcased in the show. I don't mind it because I kind of like that dirty, grimy look from Mando. But others, I get they've de-weathered theirs and made it look a little bit more accurate. Fine, but I do love this one with the wired cape and, of course, all the traditional accessories like the rifle and all the other stuff that you always wanted, like the dark saber and, of course, the the Beskar spear. So really great. Again, you're probably not using the head sculpt. Use the helmet look. This is the best Mando to date. It's worth it. Now at number 8, we have a figure still on pre-order here, and that's the Darth Vader battle damage figure from The Force Unleashed. Now this is just incredible, guys. Look, whether you played The Force Unleashed or not, if you want a Vader in your collection, this battle damage one is incredibly difficult to pass up. The base is elevated. It's a raised platform base. It's insane. The amount of detail and the cybernetic parts and, of course, the exposed skin is ridiculous. Multiple head sculpts here to Hayden Christensen's likeness. This is just remarkable. Remarkable. You can get a Darth Vader helmet here that's relatively unscathed, a little bit of paint application there to show some weathering and damage, but nothing super beat up or super grimy. This looks insanely good. This is just remarkably good. This type of figure is one that's hard to pass on because when you're going to get another Darth Vader that's this battle damage and fucking sick again? It's just, I mean, having him standing there with the helmet on, with the USB light up lightsaber, with all the exposed battle damage parts, this thing is going to be so presence commanding and so eye catching in a shelf that I don't know how most collectors who love Darth Vader are going to pass on it. It's ridiculous. It's a work of art. And the exclusive version has another half mask type head sculpt. There is a version with the ObiWan Kenobi half head sculpt as well. This version doesn't have that in these pictures, but you can see there's a special edition exclusive, and you can see the other stuff included with the cybernetic parts and things like that. It's ridiculous, guys. It's insane. I can't, for $400+ I think it's worth it. It really is. This is just an incredibly amazing figure that you can put in your video game display or in your Star Wars display. It's going to fit either way. But for me, I mean, I just couldn't pass on it. At number 7, we have the Hot Toys Artisan Winter Soldier. Now, this is a figure that I've long waited for. I did not secure one. I tried jumping into the queue. I was ready. I'm on the wait list. I have some people that are willing to sell me one, so I'm going to try to buy one regardless, but this figure is one that I need in my collection. You have a metallic-like paint application on the arm. You have a rooted hair head sculpt, or wool implanted hair head sculpt. Some people think the head is a tad bit big for the body. I don't feel that way personally, but I do think this can be adjusted. I do think this is one where you have a magnetic base, which is also a really cool aspect of this figure. And the fact that it has that wool hair implantation, a real leather top, this is going to be a really badass looking figure. It's unfortunate there was no sculpted option, but I'm certainly going to have the mask on with the rooted hair, and I'm absolutely going to have this Winter Soldier proudly displayed in my collection. I need this character in my display. He's that important to me. I had the original version, but I sold it because I knew they would make another one, and they have, and now I'm going to have this one and really just love it all the same. I hope my waitlist converts. I have some people who are willing to sell me one if not, but again, genuine leather top there, as you can see. Hopefully they decrease the head sculpt size just a little bit, but I think the hair looks great. The likeness is still pretty strong. I wish if they could only give us one head sculpt, give him one with the eye makeup, make that the one head sculpt. That's how everyone's going to display him anyway. But regardless, I'm going to have the mask on him either way, or you can have the goggles on him, which is also super cool. But I'm probably just going to have the mask without the goggles on him, just to avoid any damage to the overall head sculpt. But you got 3 interchangeable metal-like arms in different poses, which I've asked for forever. So thank you, Hot Toys, for that. This is just all the weaponry. This is just a beautiful figure, and I don't know how you can skip on this one. At number 6, we have the Hot Toys Darth Maul 2.0. This is the version with the Sith speeder. This is actually being shipped to me, or has been shipped to me, by Comic Concepts, which is super, super exciting. So I got this Sith speeder here, and I'm very, very excited for what it's going to look like in the display. This Darth Maul I've had for the regular version for quite a while now. This is incredible. I've had the 1.0, I've had the 2.0. It's laughable. It's not even a comparison. The 2.0 is markedly better. It's not even close. And for the people that are still holding on to their 1.0, saying it's as good, I'm sorry, it's not the case. I've had both in hand. The 2.0 is certainly better in every way, shape, and form. Tailoring is better. Head sculpt is ridiculously better. The likeness to Ray Park is out of this world good. And the amount of presence that this has is remarkable. And look, if you're gonna have a Darth Maul, it's this one. It's not any other Darth Maul. The Phantom Menace is the iconic portrayal. It's the best outfit. It's the best look. It is the best version of Darth Maul that you can buy. And for me, it is the only Darth Maul that I want in my personal display. This is incredible. I need this Darth Maul on my display. I have the standard one. I can't wait to get the Sith speeder. But trust me, if you don't have this Darth Maul, please hunt him down if you're a Star Wars fan. He's worth it in every way, shape, or form. He's that good. At number 5, we have the Hot Toys Feral Predator. Now, I know Prey is not every Predators fan's favorite movie. I know a lot of people stick to the original. I really like the original film too. And the Jungle Predator 2.0, hopefully it gets improved a little bit, but it's still a very good offering as a 2.0 figure. But I'm promising you, as someone who owns this Feral Predator figure, this one is insanely good. It is one of the best Hot Toys that I've ever seen in my entire life, one of the best figures I've ever seen, and what Hot Toys has done here is pretty remarkable. Mine came with some hands that are a slightly different color than they otherwise should be, and that I'm still a little bit confused by. I'm not sure why that actually occurred, but nonetheless, you have a beautiful figure here with now a seamless torso, and you have the mask head sculpt, which magnetically sticks onto the front, or you can actually go with the version that without the mask display as well if you want to show the Predator's face underneath. You got some interchangeable mandibles that you can pull out and plug in. Very simple, very easy to do, and a ton of weapon accessories that are just awesome. I loved Prey. It's my favorite Predator film personally. I like the original. I get that it's very sacred to a lot of people. I really enjoyed that film, but I really liked Prey for what it was, and I'm excited to see more from the Predator franchise in a modern format. But look how good this looks. This is going to be a figure of the year contender this year. No doubt about it. This thing is remarkably good. So for me, I can't wait to have this guy in my display forever, basically. And I hope you have him in yours because he ain't going anywhere. At number 4, we have the Hot Toys Artisan Jack Sparrow. Now, this is the wool implanted hair head sculpt with the real cloth bandana. I promise you this Jack Sparrow is amazing in hand. Again, I've had the DX15 Jack Sparrow. Great figure for its time. It doesn't hold a candle to the new one. I promise you this new one is infinitely better, as are most 2 and 3.0s. They are generally far better, and this one is no exception. He looks great without the coat on. He looks great with the coat on. You get the pirate wheel base. It is awesome. This Jack Sparrow is an incredibly iconic portrayal here. It is the Dead Man Tell No Tales version, which is not the most iconic pirate film. That would be the first one, but still it's a Jack Sparrow nonetheless, and it looks amazing. The tailoring, like I said, the dreadlocks, box. All super cool. And of course, you can put him in some really cool, fun poses and do a lot with him. This Jack Sparrow is just a true work of art. So if you can get your hands on the Artisan version, I promise you're going to be thrilled with it. It's insanely good. It's one of the best Hot Toys that they've done in quite a while now, and it's a great step forward for the Artisan line. At number 3, we're going for a little bit of a somewhat old school figure here. We have the Hot Toys Yandu from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Now, I had this figure for quite a while, but again, someone sent me a crazy offer for this figure that I could not refuse, and I ended up selling it. I thought at some point they would make another Yandu. That was kind of my hope, because I thought in Guardians 3, he does kind of, I think, make a flashback appearance. There is some scenes here and there that Hot Toys could have made another Yandu if they wanted, but I'm not so sure this figure gets made again anytime soon. I don't think it was a super hot seller for Hot Toys. I think it was just popular on the aftermarket because a lot of people didn't pre-order it, and it became a grail. This is undoubtedly one of the best Hot Toys head sculpts that has ever been done by the company, and one of the best head sculpts in a licensed capacity in 1/6 scale or any scale collecting. This is remarkable. The likeness to Michael Rooker is insane. And of course, Yandu in Guardians 2 is like his shining moment. He does the arrow scene, and of course does some really cool shit. Guardians 2 is a really great film. And for me, this Yandu is just an incredible work of art. So if you're a Guardians fan, whether you want the whole team or not, this Yandu figure is pretty remarkable. And at number 2, we have the Hot Toys Bane 2.0 from The Dark Knight Rises. Now, again, if you followed my channel for any reasonable amount of time, you know how much I love this figure. Of course, you got the visible wrist joint. If you don't have the coat on him, you can work around it. You can kind of pose it away. I wish Hot Toys found another way to make that happen, albeit they did not, unfortunately. I will say that this figure is incredible. The likeness to Tom Hardy is amazing. These blogger photos truly are not doing the figure justice, really. I have this figure in my collection, and it's incredibly lifelike and one of the best 1/6 scale figures ever made, period. The custom seamless body that Hot Toys did here is remarkable. The fact that it has the scars, it has the vein work, it has all the correct proportions, albeit a little bit large for Bane. It looks incredible. Movable eyes here. This is just, Hot Toys absolutely killed it. And there will be some other companies, maybe J&D, who try to tackle this figure. And if they make it even better, that's great, but it's gonna cost you maybe 3 times what the Hot Toys one cost. And this one is already a pretty fucking good grail. I mean, look at that head sculpt right there. The likeness of Tom Hardy, the detail in the mask. This thing is insane. Look at the scar on the back of the head sculpt there, and just the vein work on this custom body. I promise you it's great. Will the body hold up is the question if you put it in poses like this. I'm not so sure. I have mine in a simple sort of neutral pose just to be safe. If you want to have them in other poses, you totally can. But for me, you just got to be careful with that. Nonetheless, this figure looks insanely good. So I promise you, it's worth it. At number 1, we have the Hot Toys General Grievous. This is a figure that's still on pre-order, but it will be released probably sometime this year. And when it does, it's going to become a grail almost instantly. This figure has been long requested, long demanded by Hot Toys collectors. And the fact that it now exists is crazy. We never thought we would get a General Grievous from Hot Toys. And the fact that we now have is pretty remarkable. This thing is insanely good. And I hope that in person, it's going to hold up and have those joints that are going to be able to withstand the test of time. Only time will tell, but I can say for now, this thing looks crazy in terms of its prototype phase here. But I do think the multiple lightsabers with USB light up, you have the articulated joints there, some die cast components as well. You have the cape that flows. It is crazy. So for me, General Grievous is going to be an absolute grail. It is an iconic Star Wars representation, an iconic Star Wars character, and one that is going to stand out like crazy in a display. I can't imagine a Star Wars display without a General Grievous in it. This guy is so essential, so integral, and you can see the die-cast metal components, which is a lot of the body, honestly. So I think the joints are going to hold up pretty well. Grievous is going to look insane. I'm just still shocked this figure exists, honestly. It's ridiculous. I cannot wait for mine. And that's that, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. Those are my top 20 Hot Toys Chase figures. Some of them are on pre-order. Some of them have been released already and are waitlisted / sold out. So be on the lookout in different areas if you're looking for any of these figures. You can find them. Try Facebook, try eBay, try other retailers even, and see what you can find for these figures, because I promise you they're worth it if you really enjoy that character. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it down below, click the subscribe button, and click the notification bell so that way you're notified when content goes live here. If you enjoy this type of content, I promise you I have lots more on Instagram, will.foxification, and on TikTok, WillFoxification. Find me there as well. Lots of cool stuff on both of those outlets that you're definitely not going to want to miss. That said, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for joining me. I love you as always. Chase those figures if you need to. It's going to be worth it, but just make sure you're being responsible about it. Nonetheless, peace out. Bye.